Angels say, "You're getting married very soon." But with someone nobody expected. Before we dive into what the angels are revealing about your love story, I want you to comment right now in the section below and write these powerful words, "I receive." Just those 2 words. Type them now, because what you're about to discover in the next 30 minutes is going to shift everything you thought you knew about your future, your timing, and especially about the person walking toward you right now. Most people spend years searching for their person, chasing signs, wondering if they're good enough, worthy enough, ready enough. But what if I told you that right at this very moment, the universe, God, the divine intelligence that orchestrates every single moment of your life has already arranged something so specific, so unexpected, so perfectly timed, that it defies everything your logical mind is telling you? By the end of today's message, you won't just have comfort, you'll have clarity. You'll understand why certain doors closed, why some relationships didn't work out the way you planned, and more importantly, you'll see the blessing that's actually been showing up in ways you completely overlooked. Welcome back, beloved souls, to God's Message Today channel. If this is your first time here, I'm so honored you found your way to us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and enable your notifications so that whenever we share a new divine message like this one, you'll be the first to know. The angels have been busy, and they're speaking specifically about unexpected blessings in love, divine timing, the beautiful interruption that's about to rewire your entire relationship journey. So let's jump into what heaven is trying to tell you right now. The truth is, most of us grow up with a very specific picture of our perfect partner. Maybe you saw it in movies, heard it from friends, absorbed it from society's messaging about what a soulmate should look like. They'd have certain qualities, a particular background. Maybe they'd come from a certain place or have a certain status. We create this ideal image, and then we spend years, sometimes decades, looking for that exact person. But here's what the angels are whispering to the deepest part of your soul. God's plan is never as small as our imagination. Your person is not coming in the package you expected. They're not arriving through the door you thought would open. They're not someone from your circle, someone everyone saw coming, someone that makes logical sense on paper. The divine has something far more beautiful orchestrated, and it's happening faster than you think. Let me share what the scripture says about this. In Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19, the word says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." This verse isn't just about new circumstances in general. It's about the moments when God is creating something so fresh, so different from what we've been expecting, that we almost miss it because we're looking for the old pattern. Your person is that new thing. They're the way God is making in the wilderness of your dating life, the unexpected stream in the place where you thought only drought existed. But you have to perceive it. You have to be willing to see them when they arrive, even if they don't look like your Pinterest board. Think about the people in Scripture who experienced this exact kind of divine surprise and love. Rebecca wasn't looking for Isaac. She was at the well doing her daily work when something shifted. Ruth wasn't planning to end up with Boaz. She was gleaning in fields out of necessity and provision, and love found her in the midst of obedience. These weren't calculated matches. These weren't situations where people saw it coming a mile away. These were divine interruptions where God said, "I have someone even better waiting for you. And they're about to appear in a way that will blow your mind." And that's exactly what's happening in your life right now. Even if you can't quite see it yet, the reason most people don't recognize their person when they show up is because they're too busy looking for the wrong things. They're checking boxes that have nothing to do with real love. Physical appearance, financial status, the way they present themselves on social media, whether they fit neatly into their current friend group, these are the metrics we use. But they're not the metrics heaven uses. God looks at the heart. God sees integrity, kindness, the capacity to love deeply, the willingness to show up even when it's hard. The person coming toward you might not have the exact resume you thought you wanted. They might be from a different background, a different economic status, a different social circle. They might arrive in a situation that initially feels inconvenient or unexpected. But their heart, their devotion, their capacity to walk with you through every season of your life, that's what's going to matter. That's what's already been measured and deemed perfect for you by a wisdom far greater than your own. Proverbs 18:12 tells us, "Before a downfall, the heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor." This speaks directly to the journey you're on right now. Scenarios you've imagined, the people you thought would work out, the carefully constructed plans you had for how your love story should unfold, those were sometimes there to teach you something, to humble you, to strip away pride and preference, so that when the real person arrives, you'll be ready to see them with spiritual eyes instead of ego. The humbling is part of the blessing. The disappointment is preparation. The wrong people who walked away were actually making space for the right person to walk in. What's beautiful about this particular moment in your timeline is that the angels are saying that timing is accelerating. This isn't a someday far away kind of message. This is already in motion kind of revelation. I want you to really absorb this. The person you're going to marry isn't some theoretical future concept. They exist right now. They're walking on this earth. They're having their own experiences. And somewhere in their life, they're being prepared for you, just as you're being prepared for them. The divine is synchronizing to very real people, and that synchronization is happening sooner than your fear believes is possible. Matthew 6:33 carry such weight for this season of your life. Jesus said, "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." Notice that he didn't say, seek first your soulmate, seek first the perfect relationship, seek first evidence that love exists for you. He said, seek God's kingdom and God's righteousness, and everything else will be added. When you align yourself with the divine purpose, when you focus on becoming who you're called to be, rather than frantically searching for who should complete you, that's when the person meant for you mysteriously appears. Your person is actually a byproduct of your spiritual alignment, not something separate from it. They're coming because you're growing. They're being attracted to you because you're becoming more you, more aligned with your purpose, more grounded in your faith. Here's something crucial that the angels want you to understand. The fact that this person is unexpected is actually proof that it's divine. Human logic says stick with what you know, stay within your circle, pursue what makes sense on paper. But God's logic says, I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to expand your heart beyond what it thought it could hold. I'm going to bring someone who makes absolutely no sense in the world's economy, but makes perfect sense in mine. This disruption of your expectations is the signature of heaven. This is how you know it's real. If you could have planned it yourself, if it fits perfectly into your neat categories, then it's probably still just your will working. But when something arrives that makes you think, wait, I never would have seen this coming, that's when you know the divine hand is at work. Think about your own past for a moment. Remember the times when the worst thing you thought was happening turned out to be a door to something beautiful? Remember the heartbreaks that felt devastating in the moment but actually freed you from situations that were holding you back? This is that same pattern showing up again in your love story. Whatever you're experiencing right now, loneliness, confusion, the weariness of waiting, the frustration of past relationships not working out, all of that has been leading you here. Not to torment you, but to teach you. Not to harm you, but to humble you and prepare you for something greater than your smaller self could have imagined. I want to read you something from Psalms 37 verses 4 through 5, because it speaks directly to this moment. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will do this. Your deepest desire for love, for partnership, for someone who truly sees you and chooses you, that's not wrong. It's not selfish. And that's written into your DNA by a God who created you for connection. But the pathway to that desire is through delighting in the divine first, through committing your way to that higher power, through trusting that what's being orchestrated is better than what you could have orchestrated yourself. The person coming to you is an answer to that deep desire, but they're arriving through the pathway of your faith and commitment, not despite it. Now, I need to address something that might be creating resistance in you right now. Part of you might be thinking, but this person everyone thinks I should be with, this situation that makes logical sense, this person from my expected circles, why? Isn't it them? And the answer is profoundly simple. Because they're not your person. Because God sees further than you see. because the person who's actually coming has something that matches your soul in ways you can't yet comprehend. There have been enough coincidences, enough almost relationships, enough situations that didn't work out despite your efforts. Those weren't failures. Those were redirections. Every single one of those near misses was the universe gently removing something from your path so that when the real thing arrives, you'll be standing exactly where you need to be to receive it. Ephesians 3:16-17 says, "I pray that out of his glorious riches he may strengthen you with power through his Spirit in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love." This is about deep roots, real foundations. Your person isn't just someone who makes you feel butterflies or looks good in a photo. There's someone who's going to be rooted and established in love with you. They're going to show up on the hard days. They're going to choose you when choosing you is inconvenient. They're going to see you on, love what they see. That kind of foundation doesn't come from surface-level compatibility. It comes from spiritual alignment, from shared values, from two people who are both committed to growing toward their divine purpose. What the angels are showing me about your timeline is that this person is actually already partially in your life. Not romantically yet, but they might be on the periphery. They might be someone you've already met, but categorized differently. They might be connected through a friend, a work situation, a circumstance that seemed random but wasn't random at all. They might be approaching you through a completely unexpected door that you'd never have thought to look through. This is why the angels are emphasizing the unexpected nature so strongly. They're telling me that you're going to have a moment of recognition where you realize this person was closer than you thought. That moment is coming, and it's going to feel like the most natural thing in the world once it lands. Let me share one more scripture that really illuminates this entire message. In Jeremiah 29, verses 11-13, the word says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." This isn't poetry. This is a promise. God has plans for your good, not for your harm, not for your confusion or your loneliness, for your welfare and your hope. And the person you're about to marry is part of that plan. When you seek God with your whole heart, you don't just find peace, you find the person who's orchestrated specifically for you. The marriage that's coming isn't just romance. It's a partnership with someone who gets it, someone who understands the spiritual journey you're on, someone who sees your flaws and loves you anyway, someone who's been prepared by their own experiences, their own spiritual journey, their own divine timing to meet you exactly where you are and walk forward with you. This person has probably experienced their own disappointments, their own seasons of waiting, their own moments of wondering if real love even exists, and all of that was preparing them to know your value when they finally meet you. You're not inheriting someone bitter or broken. You're receiving someone refined, someone who's been tested and who emerged stronger. Here's what I want you to do with this information. Don't become obsessive about it. Don't start trying to decode every interaction, analyzing every person you meet to see if they're the one. It's the old way of operating. The new way is to simply trust. Trust that the divine is working. Trust that while you go about your life, doing your work, investing in your purpose, growing spiritually, becoming more yourself, that person is being brought toward you. Trust that when they arrive, you're going to recognize them because something inside you will know. That inner recognition, that spiritual alignment that transcends logic, that's real, and that's coming. One of the most powerful things you can do right now is to release your grip on how this all needs to happen. Your specific picture of who this person should be, what they should have, where they should come from, gently, lovingly, place that down. Not because your desires don't matter, but because your person is so much better than what your mind could conceive. When you surrender your specific expectations and replace them with trust and divine wisdom, that's when the miracle accelerates. That's when the person who's been waiting to meet you becomes visible to your eyes. The angels want me to tell you something specific. You're not being punished by the unexpected nature of this person. You're being blessed. You're being given someone who exists outside the boxes that society tried to put you in. You're being freed from a love story that would have been predictable. It's going to safe into one that's actually going to challenge you to become more, to love more deeply, to extend grace and understanding in ways you never thought you'd need to. This is a gift disguised as a surprise. So here's where we are. A person is coming to you. They're real. They're walking this earth right now. They're probably just as surprised about where they're being led as you're about to be. The timing is not decades away. The angels are saying this is accelerating right now. The reason it feels unexpected is because God's hand is in it. The reason you never saw it coming is because your limited human perspective couldn't have conceived of something this good. And the reason I'm speaking this into your life right now is because you needed to hear this today. I need you to comment in the section below and write this. Blessed and ready. Tell me you're ready to receive what's coming. Tell me you believe that God's plan is better than your plan. Tell me you're releasing the need to control this and trusting the divine timing instead. Comment that now, because your words carry power, and those two words are in agreement with heaven about what's already set in motion for you. If you loved this message today, I'm asking you to like this video. The algorithm rewards videos that receive engagement, and when you like it, you're helping someone else who needs to hear this exact message at exactly this moment in their journey find it. You're literally spreading divine healing by pressing that button. And please, subscribe to God's Message Today channel if you haven't already. Turn on those notifications because we're releasing messages like this regularly. I promise you, the next one might be the very word you need to hear. Share this video with friends and family who need to know that their person is coming, who need to hear that God's plan is better than their fear, who need to be reminded that the unexpected is actually the divine. Before you go, I want to leave you with this. The person you're about to marry isn't a reward for being good enough. They're not a prize you have to earn. They're a gift from a God who loves you so much that He's willing to surprise you, to challenge your expectations, to bring you someone who makes absolutely no sense to your small self, but makes perfect sense to your soul. Trust that, live that, believe that, and watch what unfolds in your life when you do. If what we're doing here resonates with your spirit and you want to support this channel's mission to bring divine messages to people just like you, please consider sending a super thank you or making a donation. Every contribution helps us reach more souls who are searching for hope, clarity, and the reassurance that God hasn't forgotten them. You can be part of spreading these messages of divine love and purpose. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for opening your heart to what the angels are telling you. I can't wait to see you in our next message. Remember to click that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. The divine is speaking, and it's speaking directly to you. Until next time, beloved, stay blessed, stay faithful, and stay ready for the miracle that's already in motion. As we wrap up this divine message, I want you to take a moment and really feel what's been stirred in your heart over these last few minutes. Everything we've talked about, the unexpected nature of your person, the acceleration of divine timing, the way God operates outside our small boxes of expectation, all of it is real. All of it is happening right now in your life, whether you can see it yet or not. Let me remind you of the core truth that should anchor you as you move forward from this moment. The person you're going to marry is not coming because you've been perfect or because you've done everything right. They're coming because God's mercy is bigger than your mistakes. Because divine love operates on a timeline that makes no sense to human logic. And because somewhere in the blueprint of eternity, two souls were always meant to find each other. You don't have to keep searching. You don't have to keep wondering. You don't have to keep performing or proving your worth. Your person knows your worth already because they were chosen for you by a wisdom that sees everything. Think back to what we discussed about Proverbs 18:12 and the humbling that comes before honor. Every door that closed, every person who walked away, every situation that didn't work out the way you planned, that wasn't rejection. That was redirection. That was the universe making space. That was God saying, not that one. I have better. And now you're standing in that better. You're at the threshold of it. The angels are literally showing me the acceleration right now. This isn't a someday message. This is a right now message. I want to circle back to Matthew 6:33 one more time, because this is the actual secret to everything shifting. When you stop making your love life your primary focus, and you make your relationship with the divine your primary focus. When you seek God's kingdom and God's righteousness first, everything else gets added. Your person isn't running from you. They're being brought toward you by the same force that spins the planets and holds the stars in place. Your job isn't to find them. Your job is to become who you're called to be and trust that they're being guided to meet you exactly where you are. Here's what the angels want me to emphasize as we close. The unexpected nature of this person, the way they don't fit your original picture, the fact that they might come through a door you never expected to open. That's the proof that God is real and that He's paying attention to you. If this person was someone obvious, someone everyone saw coming, someone who made perfect sense on paper, then you might question whether it was divine or just luck. But the fact that it's going to surprise you, the fact that it's going to make you say, I never would have seen this coming. That's the signature of heaven on your love story, Jeremiah. 29 verses 11 through 13 promised you that God has plans for your welfare and not for evil. Plans to give you a future and a hope. That's not just flowery language. That's a covenant. That's a promise written in the eternal realm that applies directly to you right now. The future that's coming isn't one of loneliness or questioning or settling. It's one of being truly seen, truly chosen, truly loved by someone who gets it. And that future is closer than you think. As you leave this message today, I want you to do something concrete. Release your grip on how this needs to happen. Let go of the specific image you've been holding on to of who this person should be. Not because your desires don't matter, they do, but because you're actual person, so much greater than what your mind could conceive. When you make that release, when you say to God, I trust you more than I trust my own vision, that's when the pathway opens. That's when the person who's been waiting to meet you becomes visible. That's when the timing accelerates even more. The closing truth I want to leave you with is this. You are not too old, too broken, too damaged, too far gone, or too overlooked for divine love. The fact that you're here, listening to this message, is proof that the divine hasn't forgotten you. God hasn't moved on. God hasn't decided you're not worthy of partnership, of being chosen, of being loved deeply by someone who actually gets it. That person exists. They're real. They're walking this earth right now, and they're being brought toward you. Now, before you go, I need you to do two things for me. First, comment below and write these powerful words, blessed and ready. Those two words are an agreement with heaven. They're a declaration that you're releasing fear and embracing faith. They're a statement to the universe that you're open, you're willing, and you're prepared for what's coming. Comment that now, because your words carry spiritual weight. Second, I'm asking you to like this video. When you press that like button, you're not just thanking me or helping another person find this exact message at the exact moment they need it. You're spreading divine hope. You're part of the miracle chain. And if you haven't subscribed to God's Message Today's channel yet, please do it right now. Enable those notifications so that when we release our next divine message, you're the first to know. These messages aren't random. They're coming to you because you're meant to receive them. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that their person is coming. Text it to a friend who's been waiting and wondering. Post it for the family member who's lost hope. Your share might be the exact word that person needs to hear to believe again. Don't underestimate the power of passing this forward. If this message has touched your heart, and you want to support the mission of God's Message Today channel, please consider sending a super thank you or making a donation. Every contribution helps us reach more souls, create more content, and continue spreading these divine messages to people who are searching for hope and clarity. Your support is literally changing lives. Thank you for being here. Thank you for opening your heart to this message. Thank you for believing that God still speaks, that divine timing is real, and that your person is coming. I can't wait to see what unfolds in your life as you move forward with this truth anchored in your spirit. Remember, the person you're going to marry is already in motion toward you. They might arrive sooner than you think, through a door you never expected, in a way that will make perfect sense once it happens. Trust God. Trust the process. Trust that you are loved and chosen, Until our next message, stay blessed, stay faithful, and stay ready for the miracle that's already yours.